Jordan, there's this specific skill that only producers on Damage Report have, where they can start with their hands at a 5 and start when they count down to 1. They can very easily get that pinky down first, and they go pinky into thumb, dropping fingers. See, you can't do it.
I can't do it. No. I guess does it have to bend?
No, it stays perfectly still. Marissa can do it. Sophie can. I didn't know till this day that Marissa can do it.
Do you think they practice?
They've got to, or it's contagious.
That could be it.
It's like the Spock thing. Can you do the Spock thing with your fingers? Yeah. And can you like move them? See, I can't like efficiently.
I guess.
Yeah, I get a little
cleanly.
Yeah. I just wonder if they're doing a bunch of really weird physical challenges to audition people for the role of producer on Damage Report.
Probably. I think there was like a physical aptitude and abilities test. It's like an obstacle course.
We'll all be isolated from each other. We will never see each other in person, but we need to know, if we were to be in the same room with you, would you pass these physical challenges?
The final challenge is the aggro crag from Guts. So whoever can get up there, they have 3 contestants. Whoever gets up to the top gets a piece of the crag and the role as producer on Damage Report.
Wow, how do they do it? That's how they maintain morale. Everybody gets a piece of the aggro crag.
I always wanted one as a kid. I thought that was such a cool prize. And then I got older and realized this is like a plexiglass box with a light inside. Such
Every other show just gives you money.
Yeah. Give me a piece of the crag. I'll take it.
It's like is it a child labor law issue? Like, is that what they're doing? You is it an in-kind contribution of crag?
It might be a childhood thing, because now that I think about it, other things were like, other Nickelodeon shows I think were like prize packs, or I think one of them gave them like a college trust bond or something like that.
Wow, good for them. Oh, Riverboat Jack just raided with a Honda a bunch of viewers. Like, oh my God, like a lucky number of viewers. Let's put it that way. Riverboat Jack, thanks. What you're watching now? Oh, you can't hear me. Obviously, no one can hear us. The mics are very obviously off. But I wonder if they know that we're about to sit in for John Iadarola to host this awesome show, The Damage Report, which is progressive news. John had to pack. John's out of town, is what the deal is. What is your favorite thing about John being gone, Jordan? Got a few.
How much time do you got?
2 minutes.
Under 2. Got it. I don't know. This opportunity. I mean, when God closes a door, He opens a window. You know, the door is closed on John being here, but
when God closes a door, He opens a Skype call. Bup Dragon is calling us the most bangable power panel.
Is that good? That's good, right? Yeah.
It would be good. I don't feel very bangable today because we had shrimp boil last night, and it's doing a number on me.
No. I went to a concert last night, the first live show post-COVID lockdown. It was cool.
How was it?
It was fun. It was really fun.
All right. Was it? Who'd you see?
Turnstile. It was their album release show. It was in Baltimore. It was packed, and everyone was like checking your masks and vaccination cards at the door. And it's like, all right, we could do this. Like, we could have music again if everyone just participates and like plays along. That's fine. It was great.
Awesome. This is where I get so nervous because the show's gonna start and no, you're not gonna have any notice. It's just gonna start out of nowhere. And then I could be in the middle of a sentence and no one would give me any warning. And all of a sudden, everybody, welcome to the Damage Report. As a joke, I reached to an empty shot glass on my desk and and like fake drank it before, and there was a little bit of whiskey still in it. So good morning, everybody. John Iadarola is out of town. I think he's reliving moments from his youth with his best friend from college. There will probably, by this day, which is Friday, I think it's day 3 of his time with Quay, there will be a tower of empty donut boxes and pie tins as far as the eye can see. Maybe blocking a door. I feel concerned for them, but we wish them the greatest fun times as he avoids a convention to convene with his best friend from college. Oh, that does sound like fun. Luckily, we have some best friends on the show today. I am BRETT ERLICH sitting in for him, and Jordan Uhl from Deep Dive joins us right now. Jordan, how are you doing today?
Brett, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Thank you for this amazing opportunity to stand in for you. This is I would be in your spot.
I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier in that spot. People just ask you questions and you go, here's what I think. So if you can handle that, you can really handle today's show. But you've done this on a Friday. You've sat in for me before, right?
I have. But John's a seasoned host. I mean, you're a little rough around the edges, so we'll see. You put the bad in Bad Boys of TYT. I'm a little nervous.
It's gonna be a bust nuts show on the show today. I get it. Good, because I put a lot of little jokes in here about Jordan and created false rivalries. So we're gonna hit those moments along the way. There's a level 2 hype train happening right now on Twitch. For all of you, Trekkie Nurse Dragon just gifted 3 tier 1 subs, and Metal Kitty Mom just donated 1,000 bits, which is fantastic. And a big happy TYT birthday, dumpster fire timing, but to not a people who baby day. So they have 9 months, and BC Trumpet with 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you all to everybody who's watching here on YouTube, everywhere. I do want to do a little public service announcement before we start, and I'll have to say it again, because as much as we tell you guys, it just doesn't get through to you. After this show, we're gonna go, you can go from here to youtube.com/indisputable-TYT. Because we're no longer simulcasting Indisputable on the Damage Report channel. Something very hilarious has happened where people are in the chat for this show and they're asking, why isn't Indisputable on? Why isn't Indisputable on? If they just looked at the screen at the time, they would see a slate that says, here's where Indisputable is. Watch it now at youtube.com/indisputable-TYT. If you're watching on Twitch, however, you just stay put. You might need to refresh, but that's about it while holding on to your butts. So that's my public service announcement. We'll revisit it later on. We have an awesome show planned for you today. We're gonna talk about the Justice for J6 rally with someone who is going to attend that rally. We'll talk about it. It's Jordan, spoiler alert, but he's gonna go. So we're gonna get a look, we're gonna prime him essentially for what to expect and what people are saying about it. And then he's gonna tell us essentially, I'm gonna ask you, Jordan, how you're preparing for it and all that. So that's awesome. Dan Patrick, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, has been just saying some really horrible stuff about immigrants. So that must mean it's a Friday. We've got 2 amazing Karen freakout videos that I've been itching to put on various shows throughout the week, and everybody has said no. So we're gonna show you those, just what you're in for if you try to go out to in the world with the Kens and Karens who don't like vaccines. We're gonna check in on Mike Lindell's desperate attempt to convince Fox to take his money and how it's backfiring. We're gonna show you who is taking his money and reveal how much money they've had to pay in damages to people they've defrauded over the years. We're gonna show you who Fox just hired, which is pretty much par for their course, and how our negotiations going with Biden and Manchin. They may have told you, but you may have heard there was a big meeting to take place with Joe versus Joe. Manchin and Biden, we're gonna sit down and talk about their negotiations. We'll talk about how that goes for the infrastructure. An update to the controversy surrounding the activist which is that show that was going to come out on CBS, and everyone was like, "It is weird that you're making people trying to raise money for noble causes compete against each other and dance for their money in front of Usher." Which, like, who I would not want to dance for Usher. I wouldn't even want to dance with Usher because he's so good at it. And then obviously the garbage people of the week. Stay tuned for that. We got an hour and a half of amazing content for you as our hype train continues. So Jordan, are you ready for this?
Brett, I was born ready.
Oh my God, when did you change your name to Jordan? Okay, here we go. Let's do it. Just a few months after, I guess that makes it 9 months after the January 6th rally, is September 16th. 2021, when the Justice for J6 rally is to occur in Washington, D.C., where the plan was for a bunch of people to take to the streets of Washington and protest the unjust captivity of political prisoners just because they happen to overrun barricades, kill about 5 people, and essentially trespass and call for the heads of Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi. That's all they did. And originally a bunch of people were gonna go out there. But since then, the political hot potato of the January 6th riots has become so toxic for pretty much everybody that even the Republicans are turning against them. We're going to tell you about that, who was originally supposed to go and who's not. And at the end of this, we're going to get to what Donald Trump is saying. So stick around for that. Is he endorsing the event? Is he not? But first, let's get into what this event actually is. The so-called Justice for J6 rally, according to Huffington Post, organized by former Donald Trump campaign operative Matt Braynard and his group Look Ahead America, is looking back. It's meant to show support for the violent mob that overran the Capitol 8 months ago. He also, amid all this, just to let you know, that guy has said that people, since then, he's told folks not to wear Donald Trump gear because they don't. We'll get into why in a second, but he said, we requested anybody attending our events not wear any clothing or have signs supportive of either Donald Trump or Biden. Like you would be supportive of Joe Biden, hilarious. Here's what Congress is doing. Not a single member of Congress has confirmed his or her attendance, even those who have been most outspoken in portraying the rioters as patriots who have been persecuted for their political beliefs. That's the New York Times reporting. And the question, how toxic has this been even for the right-wing freako system? Extremist groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers appear to have backed off publicly from Saturday's event. A lot of these groups, according to Jared Holt of the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensics Lab, he says a lot of these groups seem to be pretty clear with their members that they shouldn't go to this thing on Saturday. And that by doing so, they could end up putting their members who are still facing trial for their role in January 6th into a more precarious legal situation. From everything I can tell, says Jared, that consensus has been heard and people have the intention of obeying them. So that's how people are kind of angling. Again, we'll get to Trump's comments on this in a second, but Jordan, you are attending the rally. First of all, what are you expecting? But more importantly, how does it make you feel that Jared Holt was quoted in the Huffington Post article and you were not?
Jared's a good friend of mine. Jared, actually, in preparation for me heading down there tomorrow, gave me a bunch of information and intel to help me better understand the landscape. So much love to Jared.
So what is that landscape? What are you expecting? Have these messages gotten through per his intel to the people who are going to attend? What's the lay of the land?
I think so. According to a bunch of like Telegram channels, a bunch of Proud Boys channels and leaders of different chapters, they're all dissuading their members from going. They're distancing themselves. I mean, this Matt Braynard isn't really a figure in this community. What we're talking about is specifically a lot of these hate groups and like white nationalist groups. So we might see fewer of them and mostly just kind of like the total Facebook boomer brain, like people who just believe everything they see. You'll probably just have a bunch of like a handful of lunatics. Physically, though, I went down there last night around like midnight to see kind of what it looks like. And it is like a giant cage around the entire Capitol complex, like really tall. And there were Capitol Police everywhere. Like I have not seen it like this in a very, very long time. I can't remember the last time I've seen it like this. Maybe immediately post January 6th, but certainly not obviously before. And in my recollection, not even like an inauguration. It's really, really locked down and intense, which I think is like maybe overkill for what is actually expected here. It gives them more of the optics of probably what the optics of what they want, which is this overreaction, this total police state aesthetic, when in reality it's probably only going to be a handful of real hangers on and just people who are true believers, and then totally outnumbered by Capitol Police and media as well.
So I know that in the wake of the January 6th riots, they had put up a bunch of fencing in DC. Has that remained up, or did they take it down eventually?
They did take it down. Midsummer, they took it down. And it was nice. It was great. I think one of the best things about living here, and especially going up there, is the ability that you can walk up to the Capitol, get a really cool picture, like right at the base of the rotunda, sit on the step. I mean, if you remember the Cori Bush protest, where she sat on the steps, the fencing had just come down shortly before that. So people were able to congregate there and have that sit-in on the steps of the Capitol. That's really cool. And I think that is a beacon of freedom, actually, that you're able to go up to right to the Capitol. And it just feels very at odds with kind of what we ultimately want to be. I don't think we are, but what we ultimately want to be, and idealistically, what we think we are. And that is, this beacon of freedom around the world. So the caging feels very weird. And again, I think it's overkill, but it came down midsummer and they just put it back up a couple of days ago.
And then, so what's the messaging that you've seen from, have you like looked into the event and how people, like how they're messaging to their folks, like before this backlash happened? What, you kind of hinted at what kinds of people are there, but like, what do you think they're going to be thinking? Like the folks on the ground, what are they gonna, the people who aren't backing away, like what would they even expect out of something like this?
I don't know, but I'm going to ask them. I've got a long list of questions. I'm really excited. We're gonna have videos like over the weekend. We're gonna have some Saturday. We're gonna have some Sunday, asking them like specifically, what do you think January 6th is a hoax? What's going on here? Get into some of their beliefs about Trump coming back in 2024. A wide array of political, social issues from around the country. I don't know what they actually believe. I think they think there's more people in jail or prison than there actually are. And I do think that they actually believe that they are being held because of their political beliefs, not because they broke into the Capitol and destroyed federal property. Just can't do it.
It's so nuts. So and then just in terms of like the level, I always like to look to Lindsey Graham in these situations. Like what would Lindsey do? Because he is at all times trying to take the most politically expedient angle for him. So in the wake of the January 6th riots, he was like, this is terrible, and we should not affiliate ourselves with that. Since then, he's kind of sidled up to this same contingent, kind of giving them outs and excuses at every turn for why they might have done something like this, and where the overreaction from the Biden political apparatus actually, they're overreacting. But if you look at what Lindsey Graham said about it, he said of the Capitol Police, they need to take a firm line, buddy. If anybody gets out of line, they need to whack them. Lindsey Graham, just like someone, I wonder what Lindsey Graham thinks he sounds like when he says stuff like this. But do you think like the folks that are gonna be at this rally, like messaging like this from Lindsey Graham, why is he doing something like that? And what does he seek to achieve from it?
I think he's covering his tracks. A ton of Republicans were silent on January 6th, or in some cases encouraged it, made excuses for it. But it got a little too real in the immediate aftermath. So I think going into this, and then also because they didn't dissuade or discourage anyone from attending or participating in the run-up, I think a lot of them were trying or worried this could happen again and need to get out in front of it. The messaging though, anyone gets out of line, we need to whack them, is a little alarming. And I think this is a bipartisan issue. I don't see a lot of liberals and progressives explicitly condemning the killing of Ashley Babbitt. And I think she's become a martyr on the right. And I don't think that's fair because they obviously don't at large care about police brutality. But like in that scenario, you look at that video, they had plenty of time to like tase her, apprehend her. I mean, he shot from like several feet away. Like, I don't think it's like a ludicrous claim to say, hey, maybe she shouldn't have been killed. Like, but it's turned into just a complete inverse of what we typically, the argument we typically have around police brutality. Like, we don't need members of Congress encouraging Capitol Police to assault people. Like, look, just get them off the Capitol grounds, send them home. Just do that. We don't need to encourage more police violence. And I see that play out with the Ashley Babbitt thing. And it's like, no, like, please, like, you don't need to kill her, tase her, cuff her, whatever. Don't kill her. Like, we don't need an extrajudicial police system. That's it. And I'm dismayed that we don't see more of that when some people justify it, which I think is kind of ludicrous.
Yes, I definitely think of when I've rewatched that video and I've heard people yell gun. Those same people who yell gun in shock that a police officer would have one pointed at them, yell gun with great exuberance when a police officer points it at pretty much any other human being in any other context, or dog, or like thing they just want to shoot at. Like, gun is super happy except in that very specific context. And they don't have the self-awareness to understand that, like, yeah, you are doing things that would fall into the category that if anyone else was doing them, you would want the police to shoot them directly in the face. I think it's hilarious to see people like Lindsey Graham take this hardline stance in favor of the cops. He's saying if anyone gets out of line, this is his, yeah, I agree with the covering the tracks. He's like, well, later he can go back and say, well, those folks were in line. Show me how out of line they were. But he does want to say, police have to do their job and I'm on the side of them. But looking at this is exactly one of the central themes that everybody should be paying attention to when it comes to Lindsey Graham, Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell, all the establishment people who are saying no. Those establishment people have been talking trash about, conveniently, when it's convenient to them, they're talking trash about every political institution that they know that Trump's rabid base needs to talk trash about and hate. Unfortunately for them, they're like the people who are now out on a limb sawing off the limb of the tree, thinking what's gonna happen? You think the tree's gonna fall? No, that's you. Like, they are undercutting these institutions at every turn just to get in on that messaging Trump train, not realizing that that train is running right through them. And this was the perfect encapsulation of that, because they were pointing that train directly at the representatives themselves. And they're very happy that this woman was shot, because otherwise it would have been their blood. I totally understand the extrajudicial killing things. It speaks more to the lack of preparedness, the lack of taking this kind of thing seriously. But I totally understand that the Secret Service, who are the last stand against someone assassinate. At that point, they're going to assassinate people, and so you shoot back into the crowd. It's more the lack of preparedness that allows this giant mob to get in the Capitol building. But I promised what Donald Trump would say about it, so we'll get to that right now. So let's get into it. What is Donald Trump saying about the people who have planned the Justice for J6 rally? It's kind of changed over the last 72 hours, but here's the messaging that Donald Trump has given to the group that by the organizers has been told not to wear any Donald Trump gear. He says, people are so disgusted with the way people are being treated from the January 6th situation. This is my impression of John doing an impression of Trump. It's a combination of that compared with how Antifa and BLM were treated. When you compare that treatment, it's just so unjust, it's so unfair, it's so disgraceful. On Saturday, though, he said that's a setup. if people don't show up, they'll say, oh, it's a lack of spirit. And if people do show up, they'll be harassed. I can appreciate why Republicans don't want anything to do with this when asked about essentially why the people in power in the party apparatus are backing away from it. He's like, I appreciate why Republicans don't want anything to do with this, but there is a lot of angst in the Republican base that is saying something without saying anything. And then finally, our hearts and minds are with the people being persecuted so unfairly relating to the January 6th protest concerning the rigged presidential election. In addition to everything else, it has proven conclusively that we are a two-tiered system of justice. In the end, however, justice will prevail. So that is a bunch of statements. Jordan, what do you make of them?
Look, I don't know if I've ever agreed with something Trump said more than we have a two-tiered system of justice. We do, but it's not what the one he thinks it is. It's extremely rich to see that. This is such like a wordsmith, like PR'd statement that he most assuredly did not write himself. It's a lot of saying something without saying anything. It's a lot of equivocating. But yeah, he's kind of winking and nodding at these people to keep them going while trying to condemn them, so he's not as like on the hook for anything they do. It's a total politician statement. He's evolved in that regard. Maybe not having a Twitter account has helped him be more contemplative with his thoughts. Maybe it's having an on-hand comms person, who knows? But that is a funny statement to hear from a guy who pretty directly encouraged it, including speaking at the January 6th event and saying, we're gonna head up to the Capitol.
It's just like, you can also tell like in what platform or interview style he's actually answering questions. Like that last one, our hearts and minds with the people persecuted. Dude, you are submitting written responses. The other one, you're on the phone. It's like, I can appreciate it, but there's a lot of angst out there. The other ones where he's like, people are so disgusted with the way people are being treated. It's just like, he says treated 8 times. Those are the audio interviews. And the ones where it's like compound, complex sentences. It's like somebody still in his orbit is tasked with listening to Trump and translating it into something that the Federalist would like to eventually like upload on their website. It's so crazy. But yeah, Trump is going to do what Trump has always done, which is not actually be the leader of this movement, but the guy who develops like an hour-long set of talking points based on what this movement cheers loudest about. Done, finished. That's what he's doing. But the weird tap dancing that he's doing around all the actual real interesting issues is just absolutely entertaining at this point, when they can't see him on Twitter. And are they actually reading articles like this and getting this information? Like, who's disseminating that to the Trump base? I don't know if enough of them are on all these platforms. They're taking the distilled version through Fox, who itself is currently, as we'll discuss later with Mike Lindell, trying to distance themselves from the real icky versions of this. And so it's relegated to the OANNs and Newsmax, which who knows who even has those in their cable package anymore. Anyhow, all right, we got to take a break, because here we break for comments to respond to the Dragon Squad. Let's do that right now. We got 4 minutes of it. Hold on to your butts. All right, wow, that is short. And I usually am the one growling when that happens to provide some kind of sound, but no. All right, let's go look to your comments. Super chat, Dankar says, gave a super chat asking, so what's the over under on the turnout tomorrow? I never know how to answer the over under. Jordan, do you think it's tens, hundreds, thousands?
If I had to guess, I think there's going to be around 50 people. I could be way off. We'll see. I'm not expecting more than a few dozen. I'll tweet out a picture of the crowd when I get there tomorrow. But like, I can't. I'm telling you also, I don't know how people are going to get in, and it's very off-putting. And I could see people thinking that they're just like not allowed to go because the caging is like everywhere and extensive, and I don't know how they're going to get in. Just by driving past, I don't know how I'm going to get in.
Oh, wow. Do you have a TYT press badge?
No.
Let me tell you something, and it's ain't nobody here but us chickens, but a press badge, you literally just can download something that says press on it, put it around your neck. You want to believe that it's some like secret society, but when I'm back at Current TV, we were just like, we ordered one from Graphics. It was amazing. Armed Liberal says, please ask if Trump is your president and is president, then okay, please ask, this is Armed Liberal. Please ask, is Trump your president? And if he is president, why are his people in jail? And Kenny from Philly, I take your notes saying, as Dr. Ritchie states, it's male Karen, not Ken. Get with the program, Brett, sorry. I am on those meetings every morning. I just don't absorb much information because I'm so stubborn. Wayne Sugihara says, what's up with the caption, caramel apple dropped in straw? Yeah, I get a little weird. I refer to Trump as a caramel apple dropped in straw at a state fair. That's what he looks like to me. Or he was not cited as that in the Huffington Post. Thank you for paying extra attention to the graphics. There might be a bunch of those that I didn't realize I was putting in as I was typing. Forbesilla says, Jordan, you are a beautiful man whose face needs to be on TDR more often. Brett, please make this happen. Jordan, you're so intelligent and I love it.
That's my alternate account. So thanks for reading it.
And I also like that they think that I could have any effect on that whatsoever. No, I can't. But I endorse it. I endorse more Jordan at all times. Matt Ulrich trying to have a sound alike for my name, which I don't appreciate. Thank you for the super chat saying, I'm taking a mental health day off work so I can watch TDR live. I'm trying to promote and model good mental health for my students. Way to go, Matt, and way to teach.
But you're watching us? Come on, you could be doing better than that.
What should people do besides watch Damage Report?
Play Fortnite.
Yeah, play Fortnite. Hot drop into the zit. Pick up some sick, weird loot.
That's it. And we just kind of stand here and kind of dance until it's time.
30 seconds of dab. All right. Hype train. We got to a level 5 hype train. Thank you for all the subs and all the bits, including Octo Squiddies giving out 5 tier 1 subs. Shadow Devil, 5 tier 1 subs. Metal Kitty Mom, I said, with 1,000 bits. Postal Wench with 300 bits. Thank you so much. Flying Contradiction Dragon, fantastic 5 tier 1 subs. Shay Nugs resubscribing with Prime, and Quasi Zeb, thank you for resubscribing. Subscribing? Cool. Fantastic. All right, welcome back. For those of you who wondered what just happened, if you're a subscriber, you won't see ads. You will just see us talking directly to you. We talked about you in the last break. But just know that that's what's happening when we break for comments. All right, let's get into this insane statement from the Lieutenant Governor of Texas. Dan Patrick is a former talk show host, and you can see those talk radio muscles flexing big as he signals to his audience of Trump supporters, xenophobes, as he goes on Laura Ingram's show to talk about really, as folks are talking about the horrible riots and that were happening on January 6th in an attempt to overthrow the government, he's talking about the real silent revolution that's being executed before our very eyes without firing a single shot. Here it is.
Let me tell you something, Laura, and everyone watching. The revolution has begun, a silent revolution by the Democrat Party and Joe Biden to take over this country. Tomorrow is Constitution Day. And folks, if you haven't read it, you need to read Article 4, Section 4 very quickly. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union and shall protect each of them against invasion and domestic violence and guarantee a Republican form of government. We need every state, every red state, because the blue ones won't do it, to send and invoke Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution to tell the president that we are being invaded. When I say a revolution has begun, they are allowing this year probably 2 million, that's who we apprehend, and maybe another million into this country. at least in 18 years, even if they all don't become citizens before then and can vote in 18 years, if every one of them has 2 or 3 children, you're talking about millions and millions and millions of new voters. And they will thank the Democrats and Biden for bringing them here. Who do you think they're going to vote for? So this is trying to take over our country without firing a shot.
So, Jordan, that was pretty coded. I'm not sure the subtle racism and xenophobia got through to a lot of the audience, but as an expert on media, what is your take on the subtle jabs at Latinos that were being doled out by Dan Patrick?
Yeah, you really have to kind of read between the lines there. It's so obfuscated. No, I mean, he like basically, this is the great replacement theory. It's that people are coming across the border, people who are non-white are coming across the border, and they are going to either push you out of your communities or take over based in this mechanism through voting by Democrats, he's saying. Unbelievable that this, like, it's gotten to this point. I guess, I don't know, should we even be surprised at this now? Like, they've been hinting at this. Laura Ingraham has been specifically saying this. She's, for a couple years ago, went on these rants about how immigrants are destroying the America we know and love. Tucker Carlson has openly said that immigrants make America poorer and dirtier and more divided. That's what they believe, and now as a result, that espousing these beliefs on TV, millions of Americans now firmly believe this, that immigrants are coming in, displacing them, pushing them out, replacing them. That is the great replacement theory. It's a white supremacist worldview. Unconscionable that this is allowed, that advertisers still fund this network, that anybody associates them, that people go on that network. Across the board, it's despicable. I maybe you have, but I've been invited on Fox in the past, and I won't do it. I don't buy into this idea that reaching people who watch that network is somehow going to be anything other than self-serving. It's absolutely disgusting.
I've never been invited on Fox News to dispel those rumors of me being relevant.
All the gossip blogs are chattering about Brett's invite on Fox News.
Wait, do you care to share who invited you on and in what context? Like, how did they court your voice on that network?
It wasn't anything big. It was a weekend whatever the nondescript, like all day weekend programming. It wasn't anything big, but they wanted me to go on and debate climate change with some blabbermouth right-wing radio host, which obviously A, was not going to be a debate, and B, they wanted me just to be a liberal punching bag. It's like, no, I'm not going to help you. Why would I help you?
So crazy. I love that. And I've never been asked to go on Fox, but I've been asked to go on like CNN's entertainment stuff, which there's a lot of like non-news happening. A lot of like, just like the format for how they ask you to go on shows like that. It's like, can you please come in and be an expert in 9 minutes? We'll tell you when you get there and you're getting mic'd up what you're talking about. Like, there's a lot of that in that kind of like newsy block. But yeah, congratulations, not only for being asked onto Fox News, but for being like this, smelling the trap on the way in. Just more about what Dan Patrick said. He said, this is denying us our government that's run by our citizens with illegals who are here, who are going to take our education, our health care. So it's government, it's politics, it's healthcare, it's safety. This is basically word cloud vomit. Do you know how many thousands of people will die in America because of the drugs coming across the border? What you see here is just an example of disciplined Republican messaging, where they just say a bunch of the same words close together with prepositions and like scary verbs in between, like invading. And that's what's weird to hear. From like to the risk of sounding like an old timey Fox viewer, it's like, can you believe these dirty Catholics are coming across the border in hordes? Dan Patrick sounds pretty Irish to me. Sounds like he'd be in the same grab bag of once called dirty immigrants who are making America dirtier, poorer, and less Protestant. Like, it's so insane that they don't hear themselves. And that's another central theme of them not hearing themselves talk. These folks who benefited from an open arms system, in theory, give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, longing to breathe free. That's why they came. That's why people are coming now. That is what we're putting forth to America, and that kind of freedom and opportunity is what they're seeking. And in terms of making America less safe, I'll give you my disciplined messaging back. Migrants commit less crime than people who are citizens. Period. They do less of it. And don't hit me with that, well, they're illegal by being here. No. They don't do all of the stuff that you're saying they do, where they're robbing, they're thieving, they're murdering. They don't do that nearly on the level that people on your side say that they do. And people that you're trying to protect from them actually perpetrate those crimes. So it's just not an issue. That is the origin. That is fake news as it was originally coined. You're making up stuff about a group of people. And then you're gonna like throw out these little quotes like, here is one case where someone was murdered. I think that's a horrible situation. And I think anytime someone's murdered, it's a horrible situation. I do those victims the respect of communicating the actual facts of the case clearly, as opposed to using them for political points like you are. So that's what you have to say back to those folks who are just chucking dumbness at you.
On that care for other people, though, that point specifically is so patently ludicrous because one of the justifications was they're taking our health care. Well, think about what Dan Patrick was saying 1 year ago, as COVID was reaching, its highest point up until now recently with Florida. He specifically said and justified the deaths of people who had COVID to say, like, look, they want to die so they don't get in the way of the economy. He was perfectly willing to throw these people under the bus or onto the train tracks just to keep the capitalism locomotive going. So he does not care about his residents, his base. He doesn't care about people who are in the way of the giant crushing gears of capitalism. He is in it to further his agenda and to keep people pitted against one another. When he has the working class pitted against immigrants, it benefits the capitalist class. That's what he's doing. So it's not about taking our healthcare. That's such a ludicrous suggestion.
Yeah, and our healthcare ain't that great. We don't got a system with a lot of people who are like, let's get in on that because they treat everybody in America. They don't. It's so nuts. Yeah, in the they can't hear themselves speaking category. It's just like with the vaccination stuff where they're like, it's my body, my choice. We'll get into and at the same time, you're not allowing women to say the exact same thing, my body, my choice. In fact, you are looting that messaging for your own political reasons. All right, we got to take a break for comments. Don't go away. We'll respond to the Dragon Squad, and we got 2 more Karens before the hour's up. Sit tight. Brower. Good God. All right. Oh, wow. We got non-human humanists with a super chat. Me, foreigner living in Switzerland, have a good job. If I had a job offer for US for twice as much money, the answer is no, because of healthcare and education.
You know what? You know what I learned yesterday? I've got a buddy here with me from Canada, and obviously they have universal healthcare there. And he said, "Oh no, I forgot to get a healthcare thing when I came across the border." It's like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, "Oh well, yeah, you get these like for $50, you get healthcare for a month if you travel into the States because you guys don't have it." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, and sometimes we have friends that have them on their credit cards. It's like a benefit for having a credit card is healthcare in the United States. That's how accessible it is." I did not know this was a thing. We're so backward and behind. It's brutal.
We are so bad. And like the thing when I talk to like my best friend is like wanton capitalist, like family Cuban refugees, and I get it, right? Anything that, when you've lost your entire family's everything to a revolution, you're gonna get a little skittish when anyone does anything. Got it, understood. But the one thing that I get as he brags about how dope our healthcare system is just like this. It costs us twice as much per person for healthcare here. This money saving move you've got, twice as much for healthcare here, and we die sooner. So if those aren't the metrics for measuring how well your healthcare system is doing, what are your capitalist pro-competition metrics for measuring healthcare? I don't know. I don't know, like, what else do you want me to say? And if it was like it was 20% more and we have 20, you can quantify the breakthrough medicine because they always like tie it to, we go innovation, we're more innovative and our breakthroughs work. But like that was a German funded Pfizer vaccine. You know what I mean? Like we said, we'll help you make it after you figure it out. But Pfizer didn't take the money from us. Like Germany did. And they have a slightly different system than the one we all talk about, but it's definitely not what we've got, which costs twice as much and people die sooner. It's nuts. Forbesilla back in the super chat. We can't breathe free with masks, Brett. Point taken. But can you please talk about how beautiful Jordan is again? Chris Kidda, is today the day we finally get the return of Brett's glorious a cappella rendition of Garbage People's transition song? I think the crew is got it together too much for that. I do want to give a little shout out to the power panel that's coming up today. The Young Turks tonight, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on tyt.com/live. Francesca Fiorentini, J.R. Jackson, Jackson White, Cenk Uygur, and Senator Nina Turner. So hour one's going to be Francesca, Cenk, and Nina. And hour two will be Cenk and Jackson, the team of Jackson and Jackson, the intrepid J.R. Jackson and Jackson White. So we're excited.
Sounds like a power law firm.
Call Jackson and Jackson.
Yeah,
because we'll fight for you. Do you have, what was in your like hometown? What was the like equivalent of Jackson and Jackson that did the ads?
Harshman, Peterson, Harshman, and Gravelis.
Awesome.
That was the like ambulance chaser one.
We had Larry H. Parker got me 2.1 million. Don't go away, more show after this little thing. There it is. Look at it go. I don't know if you can still hear me. All right, we are back. We got a pair of Karens for the rest of the hour. So if you're on linear and you're like, I really wanted that Karen dose, these are the Karens that I really wanted to be on main show, but they rejected them and I'm mad about it. Okay, here we go. So this Karen, all right. I have to make sure.
Okay. You want me to stick a needle in your arm? You can do that too.
Honey, you relax.
Let me sort something for me.
Thanks, man.
The way I've seen the world go down is disgusting. If no one's talking a lot about it, don't come and stop talking about it.
He did not.
Because no one's talking about it and it's disgusting. And no one wants to talk about it. Everyone.
Stop. No one's talking.
No, I'm not talking. You're right. You're right.
So shut up.
I know. Everyone shut up. Everyone shut up.
No, you shut up.
No, I am shutting up, but everyone else shut up too. Everyone else shut up too.
No one else is talking.
I know. No one else is talking. Exactly.
Honey.
Stop right now.
No.
You're causing me to talk more because no one else is talking exactly. It's
Enough.
and everyone knows it.
Enough.
It's maiming and killing people. You want something?
Honey.
I'd rather do heroin than I'd rather put a vaccine in my arm. I'd rather take a shot of heroin. Honest to God. I'd rather take a shot of heroin.
Honey. That is retarded talk. Stop.
No, it's not. I'd rather take a shot of heroin. At least I know it's heroin.
Oh, sorry. No, you're good. I didn't say nothing.
Shut up, dude. Please stop.
No, you.
No, I'm not. Stop me.
He did not tell you anything about.
No, but you brought that up, and I hate the fact that you brought that up.
Can I apologize for you for bringing it up?
Yes, thank you.
He did not tell you.
I know, but you brought the fact that I don't know what you're
He
telling
said
me.
if we wanted to go to Cabo and you would.
No.
That's all. It's not a big
No,
deal.
I will not be wearing a mask anywhere.
I know. It's good.
Nor will I be getting tested.
Okay, we're good. Stop.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. It just gets my blood boiling.
Stop. Can you look at me?
The sadness.
Can you look at me?
Yes, I love you.
Look at me. Stop.
Disgusting.
Stop.
That was a masterpiece that could only have been played in its entirety. That is a That is a couple who is out at a bar having a few drinks. And it seems like they were just having a conversation, and somebody said that, if you do go to Cabo, which must have come up in that conversation, you might need to show proof of vaccination, and that set him off. There's a lot to wade through in that, but what's your take on it, Jordan?
I I don't know. I'm surprised at how patient she is. I mean, that seemed like, obviously this guy's got anti-vax, anti-mask views, but also it just seemed like he is gone. He's incredibly drunk and seems like a really annoying drunk. And maybe he should get help for that too. But this is really embarrassing. I don't miss drinking at all when I see things like this. But the line that got me, and I'm curious what you think, was the I'd rather take a shot of heroin than take a vaccine. It's so good.
First of all, you've taken a vaccine. I hate to break it to you, dude. You're vaccinated against something in your life. And it's like, at that point, it sounds like you just want heroin. Like that's what I thought. He's like, I would honestly rather have heroin. Anyways, back to vaccines. But wait, really quick, does anyone have heroin?
I'll prove it to you right now. I just happen to have this tie right here.
Let's go. He's taken cocktail napkins and tied them into a tourniquet. Go for it. Go for it. Anyways, I don't approve of heroin, but this is a hotel bar and I am in room 236. Vaccines are terrible, heroin. And then Peachy Pax in the Twitch chat had a great line, because he said, at least I know what's in my heroin. And it was, I know what's in my heroin is the stupidest comment ever. Like, you don't know what's in your heroin.
There's an epidemic in this country because people don't know what's in their heroin. It's fun.
From a cinematic perspective, I love this the most because there's a foreground and he's in the background. And the best part about the foreground is it's a glass of rosé.
It's very artistic.
So in the front, in the back, he's talking about the beach he can't go to because he has to show his vaccination. But in the front, they found their beach, like their poolside bar where it is rosé all day. And just like, you can be chill and understand that mask mandates and vaccine mandates are the dominant strategy in a fight against a pandemic that has killed 600,000 of your fellow red-blooded Americans. Or you can get irate about it like this dude. Other details that I love about videos like this. This guy's at the bar, and the bar is a surface dedicated to placing stuff you don't want to hold all the time. Usually it's the food plate, it's the glass. And frequently it is your Oakley wraparound sunglasses, but this dude's not having it. He doesn't trust it. So he's at a bar where all he's done is raised his Oakley wraparound sunglasses, which are like part of the uniform, above his head. Another thing, that part is amazing.
I wish him well.
I wish him well. I wish his wife, because his wife is like, he gets like this. Like, if I could sum up her response, it's he gets like this.
She's like just trying to talk him down. She's like, okay, yeah, sure. That's right, honey. You don't need to get vaccinated. That's right. We're just gonna get denied at the border and waste all this money on a Cabo trip. It's okay. Shh, it's okay.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
this is just the prequel to his like throwing a tantrum at the Delta terminal.
All right, I'm gonna reach out to Judith, see if we can get a camera crew. I'm on location.
I wonder where he is. I don't even know where this was that it took place, but it has gone viral and it's gotten 200,000 views on one of the posts alone. I love it so very much. And then even another little bit about this that happens in the video that I think I kind of want, like, the guy that gets up and originally apparently mentioned the vaccine mandates or testing in Cabo comes over and apologizes and says, I don't wear a mask either. I apologize. I don't even wear a mask either. Like, this little instinct to be like, it is weird around people. It's hard to keep the mask and the discipline up. But like this, I'm with you, man, but I put up with it. This dude yelling like he's the voice of reason, and like even the guy who is by comparison a voice of reason seems like is giving an already like dumb reaction, but we have to take it because at least he's not shouting profanity and obscenity at the bar. It's nuts. All right. From there, we go to New York, where we have at a pizzeria in New York City, a family of anti-vax, anti-mask folks, and anti-vax card folks manages to make it past the host and hostess and get a seat at the pizzeria. And once they're there, they choose to make a big old stink of it. Here's how that went.
Are you refusing to serve us?
Yeah, you can get vaccination card.
So you're going to enforce segregation because we just told you that we're religiously exempt.
You told us you had your vaccination card.
I never told you any of that. I would never tell you that. I would never say that. I would never say that.
You have to leave.
You don't have to leave. If you have the flyer, you have the flyer that you're supposed to put into your window, right? Okay, go and read it. Go and read it. Go and read it. And you tell me we're not leaving. Well, I'm not leaving. You guys can leave. I'm not leaving. Everybody in here is okay with that? Everybody's in here okay with setting segregation in society? Everybody's okay with that? Oh, we don't have our vaccine card, so now the kids can't eat. We can't eat. You guys are okay with that? This is the America you want to live in? Is this the America you want to live in? You see, you're not American. That's why you need to get out of here if you're not American. All right? Get out of here, okay? This is America, and in America, everybody can eat. Everybody can eat in America, all right? This is not segregation.
This is not segregation. May have been the inadvertently truest thing he said during all of that. Jordan, what's your take?
The line, in America, everyone can eat, is kind of sad because, buddy, I got news for you. You've got millions of people who go to bed hungry. You've got 40 or so million people who live in poverty. So no, not everyone can eat. But also, I love the line where he kind of does a call and response with the rest of the the patrons. It's like, is everyone okay with this? And a bunch of people are like, yep, just get out, leave. I feel bad for the people he singled out also, though, to say that they aren't American, they don't belong there, because like we do, and especially in New York. New York is really unique in that you just see people from all over the world there. And it's a very special place because of its diversity. So it's people like him, who's probably just some loser from Long Island, like just suggest. I mean, it really is, or Staten Island. Like those are like the worst parts of New York. Like just to say like the people who are eating there got their vaccines or being careful, just want a slice of pizza, that they're not American. They somehow aren't as deserving of being there as he is. Like he is such a loser and a waste of space. I feel bad for people who are on the receiving end of that, but just get out. Like I said at the beginning, maybe people didn't hear us because our mics weren't on, but the concert I went to last night, everyone had to show proof of vaccination. Everyone had to wear masks, and it was awesome. We had a packed house. It was great. Everyone's fine because people took a couple precautionary measures, and we can return to normalcy as this thing continues to dissipate. It's a little bit of a self-sacrifice in a spirit of collectivism to make the lives of everyone around us better. It's great.
Yeah, like today or yesterday, Madison Cawthorn also called it apartheid. He called it apartheid, like, and specifically talking about travel restrictions in the air, like, and regulations that go in. These are regulations and standards that keep people safe, right? They keep you safe. They have a protocol they have to follow, or the restaurant gets shut down. They tell you have to put your seat back and tray table in the upright and locked position for safety on takeoff and landing. Wear your safety belt for safety on takeoff and landing and when there's turbulence. All of these things are regulations to keep you safe. The pilot can't be drunk. You can't be making a disturbance. You can't charge the cockpit. Like, these are all things that are designed with your safety in mind. And to equate that with apartheid and segregation, I can't believe, and this is the number one dilemma that faces me on a daily basis dealing with morons like this, is, do I gotta explain it? Do I gotta tell you that segregation based on race is how you're born? Like, we were all born unvaccinated, correct? But you choosing that this is the one vaccine you're not gonna take, that's your choice. That, like, were you this upset when for safety they banned smoking? Are you going in and lighting up? That's you putting something in your body that's your choice, and putting something in someone else's body that's not their choice. This reduces that risk. And in a densely populated area like New York City, they have chosen to enforce these protocols to keep people safer. And what's hilarious is, from what I read, you could sit outside and eat without showing any of this. So that just means you can sit outside and have the exact same experience as people inside who've shown vaccination, because the fact is you have a higher likelihood to spread and catch COVID on the inside. So all these questions, this is another central theme. People ask questions they think are rhetorical, to which there are actual answers. So all those questions, is this the America you want to live in? They said yes. Is this isn't this apartheid? No, because you can sit out there and have the exact same experience. And this isn't because you're black or white. This is because you might be a larger risk to the people who are sitting here eating food. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, the apartheid or the segregation line is so ludicrous. There's a quick fix for it, pal. If that's what you're truly worried about, just get vaccinated. When people invoke this type of discrimination and historical suffering and inequality to justify what they're doing now, which is usually just, a false sense of victimhood or wanting to be contrarian or confrontational. I have no remorse for people when they do that and invoke these types of things to cover their butts. And if something were to bad happen to them, I can't bring myself to feel bad.
Yeah. All right, that is all the time we have for this first hour. And for those of you in the segregated area of the linear viewership, if you want to join all of us cool people on the other side, switch over to our streaming platforms, Twitch and youtube.com/the Damage Report. And thank you, and we'll see you there. Hey, y'all. I'm folksy. I'm a friend. I call you y'all. Welcome back to the Damage Report without John Iadarola, though he did text me during the show to say, great show so far, man. I have friends. They text me. I'm connected. All right, we are here with me, Brett Erlich, and Jordan Uhl, who you will be joining this evening for Game Busters. Tell us a little bit about Game Busters tonight, Jordan.
Game Busters is the hot new show making waves at TYT. Tonight we're on Twitch at 8:30. We'll be joined by, and keep track of all this, we will be joined by Brett Erlich, Brooke Marks, Ray Vana, Ben Carollo, and Lucid Fox. We've got a star-studded lineup tonight. We're playing Human Fall Flat. If people have ever seen it before, it's really funny. It's like a team building game where you have these characters who basically have no bones and they're terribly uncoordinated, and you're trying to maneuver over a really complex obstacle course or do things together where you're moving planks to get across a ravine. It's very, very funny to play, very funny to watch. And we'll have a little bit of a kicker where if people gift subs, whether we're playing on controller or mouse, whatever you're playing on, you have to turn it upside down for a minute and then continue trying to play. Which will be even more uncoordinated and more difficult. So it's going to be absolute chaos. Don't miss it. 8:30 tonight on TYT.
Awesome. People who, don't miss it. Even if you're on YouTube and whatever you typically watch on YouTube, Facebook, you can still watch on for free on Twitch and participate. It's super easy, super fun. Just twitch.tv/TYT. If you have it on your phone, you can download the app. It's really fun, and we've had a couple really great game nights so far. I do want to give a shout out to new member Snidely Whiplash. Welcome to Tier 1. Christopher Gothberg, thanks for the super chat. The Dreads for Justice, Jackson and Jackson, Dreads for Justice. It's great. Arugula Ragu said, 2 Karens, 1 MAGA rally. That was the title of the broadcast so far. Add up to more than the total number of GEDs present. So good. And Forbezilla, my wish is your command. Jordan shouldn't have to wear a mask because he has a lovely face, and I would love to get to converse with him. I thought you said Converse. I was really weirded out. I was like Converse with him. Oh, that sounds like a fun day to go shopping for Chucks.
That's nice. Keep the flattery coming. This is great. I love this. People are always mean to me on deep dives. So this is quite the opposite.
So good. All right. Thank you, Pyralicia on Twitch, by the way, for saying Brett is very entertaining. And he does. And then Court for Jester says Brett does kind of look like the TMZ guy. Harvey Levin. Jordan's got the sippy cup. You have like a thing.
We can do it. Yeah.
God, I love it. I used to see him working out. Not to brag, I used to work out. All right, let's get into this. This is an amazing story. Mike Pillow. Tough times for Mike Pillow, aka Mike Lindell, aka the My Pillow guy. The Baron of sleeping correctly is unhinged, and after rage quitting his advertising buys on Fox News because they wouldn't run a specific ad he wanted them to add, he is back at their door banging loudly, please, please, please take my money and please, please, please run my ads. Here's what Insider writes. My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell approached Fox just weeks after cutting ties in an attempt to mend the advertising relationship and promote his new social media network, Frank Speech, which he just calls Frank. It's amazing. He has since pitched at least 4 commercials to Fox, all of which have been rejected. At the end of this video, we're going to show you exactly who is taking his, or at least like agreeing to have him come on the network. And we'll talk about how much they have paid in settlement money for defrauding people. But in the meantime, here is what Mike Lindell has said and told insiders: is Fox is only turning down ads that have the Frank Speech in the title. They said I couldn't mention the words Frank or Frank Speech. It was the fastest reply we've gotten. But if I removed the words Frank Speech, it might have been cleared. But it would have been just a My Pillow ad, which I said I'm not doing. Outrageous. He wants people. We here at Damage Report will show you what's going on Frank's Speech. FrankSpeech.com. You don't have to put in a valid telephone number or email. Just know that they make you give them an email address or telephone number. You can put in whatever you want. So you can get, I checked in at 8:23 a.m. Pacific. Here's what was going on. It's not even original programming. They're just rebroadcasting Real America's Voice. And I believe that's Boris Epstein along with Steve Bannon, each looking equally disinterested in what is happening and probably disappointed that they're on frankspeech.com. Jordan, what do you make of this?
Okay, so the premise itself, right? What he appears to be trying to do with Frank's speech is replicating the early days of Huffington Post for a video podcasting streaming era. I get the model. I also then went to Frank's speech during this like cyber symposium week that he was doing, where he like basically locked people in a room in Wyoming for a couple of days and was like, "Hey, we're proving that the election was rigged," and like then everything fell through and like no, they had no proof. I poked around the site and just went to look to see who was on this site. I recognized like 2 names total. Obviously, Steve Bannon, his stuff is aggregated on there, and then one other like C-list MAGA world person. Other than that, it is like total small fry, like D and F list, like right-wing personalities. Never heard of some of these people. And there's a joke, wife and I have been joking about, because one of the guys calls himself Jiggy Jaguar and he's on there. It's the Jiggy Jaguar show. And like, look, ludicrous. No one has heard of Jiggy Jaguar, but he's on Frank's speech. That's the quality of content you're getting on there. Fox, on an advertiser front, has traditionally relied on Mike Lindell to subsidize primetime programming. When we were pushing that campaign at Media Matters to get advertisers to drop Tucker, I mean, we got 200 or so companies to drop his show. It was, for a while, they had 2 full ad blocks that were just My Pillow. That's how bleak it got. But also, that was how vital of a role he played in filling that time. So for them to cut off ties shows that they like realize this guy is off the deep end, and B, don't want to promote a competitor. They have Fox Nation. They have a streaming alternative. They want to promote that. So it's like, it goes to show you can't really make any friends in DC. If you want a friend, get a dog. But also like this is the end of that relationship, because he's just a true believer. He's not really part of the grift. He believes it.
Well, I love that. And it kind of proves that for a while, Fox News was frankspeech.com. It was a streaming service funded by Mike Lindell. And he was like, I can do it myself. Plus I can talk to people that stole the election. But we will show you, as promised, he has been accepted on other platforms. Here's who he's on with lately. It is Jim Baker.
We don't allow the enemy to come in. We have to take back.
That's what you're telling us to do, and that's what you're doing.
Yes,
we're going to take back what was stolen from us.
Absolutely.
America needs to take back.
Well, they stole our country.
Yeah, we got to take it back.
We're taking it back.
Amen.
And they stole it at lower levels, micro levels, and macro levels. They stole it at all places.
Our time's going away.
Yeah.
So quick.
You know what I believe? I believe if everybody would order a set of pillows, we could do $1 million.
Yes, amen.
Just in pillows.
Amen.
Yeah.
Believing
Just in this
for a miracle.
pillow.
Yep.
And that would be a great start.
That's a tough turn from they stole democracy. But if you buy, and we have photos of the pillows, the telethon called Take Back What the Devil Stole From You. It aired in hour-long installments from September 14th through September 16th. They are selling these pillows, which are Bible My Pillows. And just to give you an idea of how much it costs, a 5-pack of children's Bible story pillowcases and Go Anywhere pillows is not $100 price. It is, you get them free with a $100 donation. So good. And just
Jim Baker, like for people unfamiliar, is a long time swindler. Like there isn't a con that he hasn't like found his way into. I mean, I think he went to prison at one point, like for like a timeshare scam. Like Jim Baker has a long multi-decade long history of like cons and scams and swindles, and it's like it's always steeped in a religious veneer, which is just so intriguing to me, because it's just like, even in these self-professed like Christian circles, he's still like, it was a couple years ago, it was doomsday buckets, obviously at the timeshare scam, and now it's Bible pillows. Like, this guy loves money and he loves scamming viewers.
Yep. To fill in that blank, Jim Baker made a name for himself as a televangelist in the 80s, according to Insider. In 1989, he was convicted of 24 counts of fraud and conspiracy for defrauding his followers out of $158 million. He was sentenced to 45 years in prison and fined $500,000, but was paroled in 1994 after 5 years in jail. You would assume they'd say do not televangelize anymore, but apparently he can be back at it as soon as 2021. All right, we're gonna skip ahead this next to the H block. We were gonna give you an update about how much Biden is failing with Joe Manchin, but you can watch that on the Young Turks Power Panel. Today, they're gonna be talking about that meeting that went horribly wrong with Biden and Manchin. But we're gonna talk about The Activist, a show on CBS. There is a bit of an update, so let's get to it. Activism. It's what keeps, this is great B-roll. This is inside TYT. That B-roll is labeled climate change, but it's just a flower, and frequently we pull it and it doesn't make any sense. So climate change devastates, let's just start here. There's a show on CBS called The Activist. It was announced to great fanfare, and the producers were very proud of it. It starred Usher, and it starred Julianne Hough, and it starred Priyanka Chopra Jonas. And it was a competition style show about activism, a shiny floor show as it's called. And they were gonna have activists compete against each other to kind of get this spot at the G20 where they can go and celebrate and, I don't know, high five dignitaries. But everyone had such huge outrage about it, because they were turning activism and philanthropy into a competition, that CBS and Global Citizen, the producer of the show, have jointly announced that they are utterly changing the format because so many people pointed out how ridiculous it sounded. So from the statement itself, global activism centers on collaboration and cooperation, not competition. We apologize to the activists, hosts, and the larger activist community. We got it wrong. It is our responsibility to use this platform in the most effective way to realize change and elevate the incredible activists dedicating their lives to progress all around the world. In the extended statement, they say the activist was designed to show a wide audience the passion, long hours, and ingenuity that activists put into changing the world, hopefully inspiring others to do the same. However, it has become apparent that the format of the show as announced distracts from the vital work these incredible activists do in their communities every day. This push for global change is not a competition and requires a global effort. As a result, we are changing the format to remove the competitive element and reimagine the concept into prime time. Documentary special, air date to be announced, because we have to do a lot more work now. It will showcase the tireless work of 6 activists and the impact that they have advocating for the causes they deeply believe in. Each activist will be awarded a cash grant for the organization of their choice, as was planned for the original show. So with all of those statements, the 1,000 words that they had to upload in JPEG form because it wouldn't fit. What do you think, Jordan, as an activist yourself?
I think not just my perspective. What I saw on listservs and organizations and other circles, when this show was announced, there was a collective like knee-jerk reaction because people widely felt this completely missed the mark. The way they approached it from this top-down G20 approach, which is more about like pomp and circumstance, and results in lofty goals and initiatives without any real ideas or effort to implement these changes. And a lot of change happens at the ground level. So across the board, and not to mention the original concept for the show was to determine a winner based on likes and shares and performance of social posts, which like, look, I'm telling you, it's not how things happen. It's a lot of like thankless work. It's a lot of work on the ground. It's a lot of unseen, unflattering, like grimy, circumstances. But that's how change happens on the local level. And that showed this was more of a ratings play than anything else. This type of corporate social responsibility that a lot of big entities love to employ when convenient, without like distancing themselves from or cutting off donations to Republicans in Congress or right-wing politicians around the world who protect or implement or further these policies that are globally destructive. So if you actually wanted to do that, make a commitment to cut out corporate spending, make a commitment to cut off lobbying to Republicans who, while they might further your hopes and dreams on like a more entertainment front, also do the bidding of polluters around the world. Make it apparent in everything that you do that this is actually what you believe. Otherwise, it's just a cynical ratings play.
Absolutely. And just from so as a producer, producing this as a documentary special is going to raise their budget by a good $1 jillion. You have to send people out there, and now you have to voiceovers. It's not just like we'll get this building, we'll get the we'll do it week in, week out. Maybe they had shot it all together as one, but like it is a completely different show where you need a completely different skill set and whatnot to make it happen. And then also just there's so many statements coming out from the hosts that are, wow, I didn't know that philanthropy took so much work. I thought I would just be at a dinner where people give me cool food and let me meet cool people, and then I cut a check because they've danced for me enough. It inadvertently shows how difficult it is to do this kind of activism. So nuts. All right, now that said, we're coming quickly toward the end of the show. So it is time for our garbage people of the week. All right, garbage people of the week. Jordan, you are our guest. You go first.
Okay, again, thank you for having me, Brett. It's an honor to sit in your seat. My garbage people of the week are Scott Peters, Kathleen Rice, and Kurt Schrader. And while those names might not resonate with people watching, you will maybe know them as the 3 Democrats who voted to kill the drug price negotiation component of the spending bill in committee this week. And what does that mean? Well, this was in a committee markup in the Energy and Commerce Committee, a provision of this all-encompassing, some call it the Build Back Better Act, some people call it the bipartisan infrastructure bill, but it was a component to help pay for it that would help keep drug prices low and allow the government to negotiate drug prices with pharmaceutical companies. That is a good idea, right? No, when you have 3 corporate-backed Democrats voting with Republicans to kill it, despite Democrats having the majority, that does a disservice to you and everyone you know and love. So those 3 are my garbage people of the week, and I specifically want to point out that Kathleen Rice was picked for the final spot on this committee directly over AOC. It was between Kathleen Rice and AOC, and when Rice got it, the Democrats picked her, everyone applauded. Yes, we kept the progressives out. It's so great. And Rice put out a statement saying that she was so happy she got this spot because it would allow her to help negotiate to keep drug prices low. It's so unbelievably cynical and just shows how there's like malignant forces, cancerous forces in the Democratic Party that are working against your best interest.
Specifically Medicare, where your tax dollars go to buy drugs for seniors. And she is ensuring that you will spend more tax money on drugs. Every other country is like Costco with it. Like we're gonna wholesale, we're gonna negotiate on behalf because we're a big buyer. We're gonna collectively bargain to buy a lot of drugs or go F yourself. We're gonna move on to a different provider. In America, that's insane. And like 90,000% of Americans support collectively bargaining for lower drug prices. That's it. That's how every other country does it. And it's a large portion of why and that's the reason that we pay more in America. Ugh, such a good person, such a good garbage people. All right, my garbage person of the week is Benjamin Elizabeth Shapiro. Everyone's name is Elizabeth if I don't know it. So his middle name is Elizabeth Benjamin Elizabeth Shapiro. He doesn't know anything about Cara Delevingne, but he really does know a lot about pegging. Here's an amazing clip from his show.
And then we had Cara Delevingne. And I may be screwing up her name, but frankly, I don't care because I really don't know very much who she is. Apparently, she's some sort of model. And here she was modeling a bib/straitjacket. I don't know what this top is supposed to be. And it says, peg the patriarchy. Oh, the courage. Oh, the stunning courage and bravery. Peg the patriarchy. Because pegging, of course, is an obscure sexual practice in which women perform the more aggressive sexual act on men. Peg the patriarchy, right? Which, yeah.
I hadn't seen that. That's so good. He's getting excited.
I love these like Cara Delevingne. I don't know. I don't even know what modeling is. Anyways, here's what pegging is. It's like, sir, you just outed yourself as knowing way more about this, and you don't seem like the cool guy in this situation.
That comes close to him reading the lyrics for WAP. Like that's a good one. I hadn't seen that. Thank you for pulling that. Oh, that's great.
There's a little bit more. Do we have time for it, Marissa? Let's do it. Here's the rest of that little clip.
And she's pegging the patriarchy by being a model for the pleasure of men, generally speaking. And also she's pegging the patriarchy by wearing scantily clad outfits that say this. And the patriarchy is quaking in its boots, let me tell you. Wow, the courage. You know, by the way, where the patriarchy is actually dominant, you think a woman could wear this? So in Afghanistan right now, the patriarchy is pretty dominant. If Cara Delevingne walked out on the streets of Afghanistan, she would be dead within approximately 22 seconds because she doesn't live in a patriarchy. That's the thing. She lives in a free republic. Okay, but peg the patriarchy, such courage. And doing it at the Met Gala of all places. And she's not even doing it like a truck stop in Ohio. She's doing it at the Met Gala. That's where the patriarchy lives. Unbelievable courage, stunning bravery.
I don't understand that, like the truck stop in Ohio thing. Like, I don't get that. Is that where you think pegging happens? Snesley Wipes in Twitch said Ben is so obsessed with kinky sex. And that's what it comes down to. Yeah, he is so obsessed with it. And I also like that. He has the dang, we have to get to the garbage people community poll. But I like that that's his like on and off, like his quantum leap between like no patriarchy, any patriarchy is you can do what you want. And then if there's any patriarchy, it means Taliban. Otherwise, you can't use the word patriarchy in a sentence or on a shirt. And he's also like, guys, this is America. It's free. You can peg people if you want to, and they can peg you back if you want to, as long as it's consensual. I think everybody can have fun in that situation. It's weird that he thinks that they can't. All right, so here we go. Damage report, community poll. Here are the results. In 5th place, Nicki Minaj for making her cousin's friend's balls headline news. With 9%. The Florida chiropractor in 4th place for pre-signed COVID waivers to students. In 3rd place, Amy Coney Barrett for claiming the Supreme Court aren't partisan hacks. Then Donald Trump in 2nd place, a rare loss for him for spending 9/11 promoting a boxing match that didn't bring in really any money. I thought it was like $150,000 in sales was all this multi-million-dollar event made. And then finally, number 1, your garbage person of the week, community style, is the Tennessee parents for mocking a pro-mask kid whose grandma died of COVID. So that's it. Jordan Uhl, thanks for joining us. Everybody watch Deep Dive Tuesdays and Thursdays at twitch.tv/TYT. Tuesdays after Indisputable, Thursdays after bonus episode or after the main show. And everybody now and watch the videos that he's going to be uploading over the weekend from the Justice for J6 event. You should watch that. Indisputable's up next. Get the merch. I wish a Karen would. I got some here. And you have to go now to youtube.com/indisputable_TYT to watch it. So you need to go from here to there. Do that now. Wake up. Go there now. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time on Monday when John is back in town.